Pain. We've all felt it, right? It's about as universal as it gets. But the way we fight against it, that is about to change in a really big way. For centuries, we've pretty much relied on this simple pill. But now, we're stepping into a whole new era of treatment, one that's personal, incredibly precise, and way more powerful. So, what does this new frontier of pain management actually look like?
Okay, just look at this number for a second. 51.6 million. That is a huge number. It's the number of adults just in the US who are living with chronic pain. That's about 1 in every 5 people. It could be your friend, your parent, maybe even you. This isn't just some abstract statistic. It's a silent epidemic, and it's exactly why we have to find better ways to deal with it.
Our journey to manage pain has been a long and, honestly, a pretty complicated one. We've gone from ancient civilizations chewing on coca leaves thousands of years ago to the invention of aspirin back in 1899. But then the 1990s marked a really dark chapter with the beginning of the opioid crisis, a crisis that was fueled by some aggressive marketing and, frankly, a huge misunderstanding of addiction. All of that history has brought us right here, to a critical turning point where we desperately need safer, smarter innovation.
So, how are we going to tackle this challenge? Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we're going to get a handle on just how big the pain problem really is. Then we'll dive into 3 incredible areas of innovation. We're talking about medications that are tailor-made for your DNA, tech that can actually rewire your body's pain signals, and groundbreaking therapies that can rebuild damaged tissue. And finally, we'll look at what's next for pain care, including the big hurdles we still have to clear.
Let's kick things off with the sheer scale of the problem. Because chronic pain isn't just a bad feeling. It's a condition that completely alters lives, and it has an absolutely staggering economic cost. In the US alone, you're looking at an annual cost of between $560 and $635 billion. That's in medical bills and lost productivity. To put that in perspective for you, that is more the economic toll of cancer, heart disease, and diabetes combined.
So, where do we even begin to fix this? Well, the first revolution is happening right inside the pharmacy. For way too long, we've been using blunt instruments, things like opioids and NSAIDs. Now, science is finally trading that hammer for a scalpel. We're moving toward medicine that is precisely designed for your unique biology.
The key to this kind of precision medicine is a field with a bit of a mouthful of a name, pharmacogenetics. But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. Imagine your DNA is like a unique instruction manual for your body. Well, pharmacogenetics is the science of reading that manual to figure out exactly how you're going to respond to a specific drug. It means doctors can finally stop guessing and start knowing which medicine and which dose is going to work best for you. And this really shows the difference. The old way was honestly a gamble. It was all trial and error. A doctor would give you a standard dose and just kind of hope for the best, which often led to really unpredictable, sometimes even dangerous side effects. The new way? It's all driven by data. By analyzing your actual genetics, we can personalize the dose and just dramatically cut down the risk of something going wrong. So how does this actually work? Well, it all starts with a simple genetic test. This test looks for tiny variations in key genes, like one called CYP2D6. The best way to think of this gene is like the engine in your body that processes painkillers. Some people have a slow engine, what we call poor metabolizers. For them, the drug builds up in their system, and that increases the risk of side effects. But other people have a super fast engine. They're rapid metabolizers, and the drug gets cleared out so quickly they might not get any pain relief at all. By knowing how your engine runs, doctors can finally pick the right fuel and put the right amount in the tank.
But what if we could go beyond just managing pain with drugs? What if we could actually intercept the pain signals themselves? Well, welcome to the world of neuromodulation. The easiest way to think about it is like a smart pacemaker, but instead of for your heart, it's for your nervous system. This is the big idea behind technologies like spinal cord stimulation, or SCS. Imagine your pain signals are like a message that's traveling along a highway, straight to your brain. An SCS device sends out these tiny electrical pulses that act like a roadblock, basically scrambling those signals before they can get to their destination. Now, it doesn't get rid of the source of the pain, but it effectively turns the volume way, way down. And that can offer incredible relief.
And this technology is just getting smarter and smarter. The early devices were what we call open loop. They just sent a constant stream of stimulation that you had to manually adjust. But the latest generation is closed loop. It sends a pulse, and then it actually listens for the nerve's response, and then it instantly adjusts the very next pulse to be perfectly calibrated. It's like it's having a continuous, real-time conversation with your own nervous system.
And the results? They're pretty striking. A 2024 clinical trial put the two systems head-to-head. After 3 years, you can just see it. A significantly higher percentage of patients with the new closed-loop system reported major pain reduction compared to folks with the older tech. This is not just a small incremental improvement. We're talking about a huge leap forward in how effective this can be.
So, we've talked about smarter drugs, and we've talked about intercepting pain signals. But this third frontier of pain management, this is the most ambitious one yet. What about actually healing the underlying cause of the pain? This is the promise of regenerative medicine, a field that's all about shifting our focus from temporary relief to lasting repair. Now, two of the most promising therapies here are platelet-rich plasma, or PRP, and mesenchymal stem cells, also called MSCs. With PRP, we use a concentration of your own blood to make this supercharged healing solution, delivering natural growth factors right where you need them. MSCs are even more powerful. These are stem cells from adult tissue that can basically act like a team of tiny construction workers, helping to repair and rebuild damaged tissue in things like osteoarthritis or degenerative disc disease. And the evidence is really starting to build. For knee osteoarthritis, for example, a major meta-analysis from 2019 concluded that PRP injections were significantly more effective at reducing pain than the standard treatment, which is hyaluronic acid. This kind of direct comparison shows that these new therapies can actually outperform the current standard of care. So we've seen these incredible innovations in medications, in neuromodulation, and in regenerative medicine. But as we're standing right on the edge of this new era, we have to ask a really critical question. How do we make sure this future is for everybody? Because with all this great promise comes some really great responsibility. And one of the biggest things pushing this all forward is artificial intelligence. AI is set to totally revolutionize every single area we've talked about. I mean, just imagine an AI that can analyze your patient records and predict which treatment is going to be the most effective for you, or one that personalizes your neuromodulation device based on your daily activities. It's even powering new digital therapies, like an AI-driven cognitive behavioral therapist that's available right on your phone.
And this really is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? We have the science, we have the technology, but do we have the access? As these treatments get more and more sophisticated, there is a very real danger that they could create a kind of two-tiered system of care, which would just widen the gaps that already exist in our healthcare system.
Let's go back to spinal cord stimulation. One study found that compared to patients with private insurance, those on Medicare were 15% less likely to get a permanent device. For patients on Medicaid, that number jumps to a staggering 22% less likely. The hard reality is that your insurance card can be a massive barrier to getting the most advanced care out there. And, this isn't just about cutting-edge technology. These disparities are woven deep into the fabric of our healthcare system. A big systematic review found that Black and Hispanic patients are consistently less likely to be prescribed opioids than white patients, even when they're reporting the exact same level of pain. It's a systemic bias that we have to confront head-on, especially as we introduce even more complex and expensive treatments. So the main takeaway here is pretty clear. We are in the middle of a profound paradigm shift. We are moving away from that one-size-fits-all pill, and we're heading toward a future of pain management that is personalized, that is restorative, and that is driven by incredible new technologies that treat the whole person, not just the symptom. And that brings us to our final, and maybe our most important question. The science is writing a whole new story for how we treat pain. But a story is only as powerful as the number of people who actually get to hear it. As we unlock all of these incredible new possibilities, our greatest challenge will be making sure that the future of pain relief is a future for everyone. The science is ready. The real question is, are we?